Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Hi, I'm Speeder. Okay, it has been a little bit since I have filmed, a little over a week. Sorry I wasn't able to post this video on time. I may actually make this next week's video, but I'm gonna try not to. I'm probably gonna try and post this tonight, which is Sunday, February 27th. And today, if you have not seen the title of the video, I will be talking about Season 2, Episode 9 of The Dragon Prince, Breathe, which is one of my favorite episodes in the show. Though I did mistake a couple of events that happened in it that I thought happened in this episode, but actually happened in the previous one. So that's my bad. This video is not scripted, unlike the last one, and so I have a scripted video and a non-scripted video in a row, well, both of them in a row, and so I'm wondering which one you guys like better, the 15-minute one with a script, or this one where I have the summary that I wrote down while watching the episode in front of me, but with no script and just improvising the rest of it. I just have everything that happened in front of me instead. So I've also done ones where I haven't written down scripts, so if you could watch one of those, the scripted one and this one, and let me know which one you like the best, then I will do that, whatever that is. And if you don't like any of them, that's fine. You can continue watching if you wish. If not, there are plenty of other good YouTubers out there who do similar things. If you want someone who talks about movies and TV shows a bunch, I would totally recommend Sean Chandler Talks About. That's a really good channel. But yeah. Anyways, oh, and if you like gaming stuff and you don't like my gaming content, or if you want other gaming content that is similar but much more high quality, you can check out my brother's channel, Palar Gaming, which is linked in my channel page. Anyways, so news for the future of Keeper of the Movie's videos. Before we get started, I'm going to just briefly give you guys the next few videos that will come out. So the next one after this one should be an Avengers Age of Ultron review and rating, and then an Ant-Man review and rating, and then I will do an Encanto review, and a ranking of all of the Encanto songs, and then I should do reviews of every episode in the Dragon Prince Season 3, and so on. There's a lot of stuff, but that's kind of the next, basically through the end of May. And of course I have two other channels, if you want to check those out. They are linked on my channel page. It's Keeper of the Books, where I talk about various books and things in books, and Keeper of the Games, which is my gaming channel. So anyways, let's get started with this review of Season 2, Episode 9 of The Dragon Prince. Breathe. Okay, so we start out the episode with Ezran, and he's on the back of this banther that he found in the woods that Corvus thought he was eaten by. And he begins talking to Claudia. There's also this brief, very funny moment. I guess it's not super funny, but it's a little bit of a funny moment where when Ezran sends the panther away, a villager gets scared, which just shows the realism of characters. I don't know, it was just a little thing I noticed. But anyways, so then we cut over to Viren, who I don't know if we got anything. Yeah, we did get Viren stuff from the last episode. But he is talking to Erebos in the mirror, right where we left off with him in the previous episode. And in the previous one, Erebos had just left off by saying, "You shouldn't trust me yet." And so here, Erebos explains why Viren shouldn't trust him, but why he should grow to trust him. Though that's clearly a bad idea. He says that he will Erebos will earn Viren's trust. And he asks basically, like, what do you desire the most? Like, what can I assist you with? And this is kind of like a classic manipulative villain tactic, is they ask you, what do you want? I can help you. I can help you. Tell me what you want me to help you with. And then I will earn your trust. And then once this villain has earned your trust, they use you to do their own bad stuff. By the way, this video, I forgot to mention, will contain spoilers for the entirety of Season 1 and Season 2 of the Dragon Prince. I will try to avoid too many spoilers from Season 3, but there might be a couple in there, so I would just recommend watching the whole show before you watch this video. It's a great show. Anyways, so Viren says that the thing that he is having trouble with at the moment is the other leaders of the 4 other human kingdoms won't listen to him. I'll remind you, earlier in the season, he held a summit of the Pentarchy where he tried to get them to unite against Zadia, but the other leaders of the human kingdoms didn't listen. Most of them just were like, well, we'll do what everybody else does. But then the only smart one in the group, who is Queen Anya, says, heck no, I'm not doing that. Viren, of course, is very angry about this. And so he says this is the thing that is bothering him the most. Viren says that both of them, need to get these other human kingdoms people's attention somehow. And he says this very ominously. So then we cut back to Claudia and Ezran. And this is kind of a deep conversation. So they're talking in the street. And Ezran looks up. He looks up at the tower, which was the tower that Soren and Claudia fought the dragon from a few episodes previous. And Claudia takes him up there, and they have a conversation, which is a pretty real conversation. It's something that I personally have not been through, but I know people who have been through it. She talks about how her parents split up when she was younger, and that she was forced to choose between her mom or her dad. And Soren chose Viren, her dad. And so her mom told her to go with Soren and that he would need her. Which is very true, because Viren is not a good guy and he's not a good dad. So, yeah, Soren would not have grown up very well. He would not have been taken care of as well if Claudia wasn't there. And so it was, I think, a good decision, however much it may have pained her. Anyways. Okay. I just had to double check how long I've been filming for. Okay. So, she also mentions that her dad is a little intense. She's like, you may have noticed my dad is a little intense. Which is very true. I mean, he is kind of the villain at the moment. Let's see. And then Ezran, being the good old, mature-ish, he's like mature at moments, child. He uses the line that Callum used for him and Harrow used for Callum. And he says that when you grow up, there are sometimes changes you don't expect, which can be taken 2 different ways. But we'll talk about the way that Ezran meant it. Sometimes there are changes you don't expect, and sometimes you have to face things you're not ready for, which again has multiple meanings, but we're going to focus on the one that Ezran means here. Then Claudia, Ezran earlier had mentioned that he has a way with animals, and Claudia discovers that Ezran can in fact talk to animals, which was revealed in the end of Season 1. And she asks for his help to find some kind of fruit. So then we get back to Rayla and Callum, and I'll remind you, in the last episode, Callum well, 2 episodes ago, Callum had used dark magic, and so in the last episode, he had fallen into kind of like a coma. It's not, he's fallen into a deep sleep. And Corvus and Ezran have all left and everything, and now Callum is having trouble breathing. And so Rayla is, of course, very worried, and so she's begging Callum to wake up. But in Callum's dream, he starts out how he left off in the previous episode, where he is falling through the ocean. And all of a sudden, we hear his mother's voice, and she's telling him to breathe. Then suddenly he's sitting next to his mother on the side of a bed, and she is telling him to calm down, telling him to breathe, giving him lots of advice. I do really want to go over Callum's whole dream, because obviously it's pretty important, and so that will be a special episode where I will go through his dream after I finish going over the whole show. Unless, of course, Season 4 comes out by the end of May, when I should finish Season 3, then we'll add that in. Yeah. The Rayla is still begging him to please be okay. And you can see, as this is happening, the cube, or the Key of Erebos, as it is formally called, is glowing faintly from Callum's bag. There's a moment here where you can see that Callum's mind is clearly foggy, it's very jumbled, there's a lot he still hasn't quite put together at this point, but he's about to put it together. And I think they kind of symbolize this by having like basically a literal fog in his mind as we look at him, and this basically manifestation, I guess is what we say it, of his mother in his mind, telling him to breathe, but there is this mist, this fog, as we look at the two, just in the room with them. And I guess that kind of represents how Callum's mind is at this time. Let's see. Yeah, he's beginning to understand everything more deeply that is going on in his head. And then she's telling him to breathe, to take deep breaths, and he's beginning to more understand, he's beginning to become more calm. And then we have this moment, which is another thing that I will talk about in a bonus episode, where Rayla, so we're back with Rayla, and non-dream Callum, and she is like saying, I don't want to lose you, please wake up, please, 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 everything, and it seems for a moment like she is about to confess just how much he means to her, as in, and I wrote specifically, Rayla seems like she is about to confess something important and perhaps romance-related. She stops and backs up, though, when Callum bursts awake. Yeah, so that's what happens. Seems like she's about to confess something, and then Callum wakes up. Let's see. She starts to get all awkward, and then Callum drops the bomb. That's what I said in this summary thing. He says that he understands the Sky Arcanum, which is why that dream is so important, and yeah, he knows magic again. Yay. So we get back to Ezran and Claudia, where Ezran has led Claudia to a milk fruit bush, or tree, or whatever. Claudia thanks Ezran and tells him to go be with Callum. Earlier she had said that he was very lucky, Ezran was very lucky to have a brother like Callum. Okay, then we cut back to Callum and Rayla again, and Callum talks about the fact. So Callum is talking about the Sky Arcanum and what he now knows. And I'm just gonna say what I wrote. Callum talks about the fact that it is like they are always in a primal stone. Since the sky is always around you, sky magic is always around you. He then says that it is also always in him. With every breath that he takes, he is bringing sky magic into himself. He says that he is the wing. I think this means something like he is sky magic, since it is always around him and in him. Something like that. I don't know, this kind of confuses me too. So yeah, Callum now understands the Sky Arcane. That's what I wrote. Yeah, so he talks about all this stuff with where sky magic is, and since air is always around you, sky is always around you, and air is always in you with breath, that I guess it kind of sort of means that like you are sky magic. It's a little weird. He talks about like how he is the sail, or he is the wing. Anyways, so yeah, Callum now understands the Sky Arcanum. He then reaches his hand out, and with a moment of truth, he does Aspero the wind breath spell, and it succeeds. And this is the final moment where it proves that humans can, in fact, do primal magic if they try hard enough. Then Corvus and Ezran show up. I'm not sure if it's Corvus or Corvus. I'm not sure. But I'm just going to call him Corvus. So yeah, Callum is a bit confused about Corvus and the fact that Ezran was gone for a little bit. So yeah, there's like this little awkward moments, and Ezran is like really proud of Callum. And then Ezran kind of drops the bomb, and he's like, "I know about Dad." And so you might remember in the previous episode, Ezran finds out that his dad is dead from Corvus, and that he is now the king of Catalis. So Callum apologizes for not telling Ezran sooner. He's like, "I'm so sorry." So we cut back to Claudia, and it seems that in the last scene, she has killed a deer. That's what it seems like, at least, though we didn't actually see her do it. Thank goodness. And Claudia uses some kind of twisted dark magic spell to heal Soren, because if you remember, Soren was paralyzed by the dragon in the dragon attack. Or more like, it wasn't actually a dragon attack. When he attacked the dragon, who was just harmlessly floating over the town, he was paralyzed. And I will quote what I wrote here. Claudia looks like a frickin' demon for a second. Yeah, basically. Her eyes are like black, like fully black, not like just her irises, or I think that's what they're called. But like her entire eyes are black, just like when you're doing dark magic. And her hair is like flowing, and her hands are like full of this like purple fire-looking stuff. So yeah, she does look like a freaking demon for a second. And she basically like zaps Soren with this dark magic, and he begins to be able to heal again, and she seems winded, and you can see that some of her hair has turned white that was not white before. I also noticed, for the first time actually this time, that Viren has a spot of white hair in the front of his hair. That might just be from age, but it could also be from dark magic, because it seems like dark magic turns your hair white when it's very powerful. So, yeah. So yeah, she uses some twisted dark magic spell to heal Soren. Some of her hair has turned white. Yeah, so Soren can move now, and he's happy about this, but also hurts because, you know, he has broken ribs. And he's a bit worried about Claudia, and she's like, "You're gonna be better now. That's all that matters," in a very creepy voice, of course. But it's not very creepy, actually. It's more just winded. Anyways, so, let's see. So then we cut back to the squad, and Ezran says that he will not be going to Zadia with the others. He's going home to be king. Because he says that he has been running from things his whole life, which is something that we have seen about his character, is that he has been running from things every time that especially when he finds out things about his dad, that his dad is going to die, that his dad is dead, he runs away. That's just kind of how he is, but he's like, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to mature, I'm going to face my fears, I'm going to face this whole thing, and I'm going to be king of Catalis. I'm going to fulfill my duties, even though I am a freaking child. And then, of course, we have the very sad moments where Ezran is leaving and Zim tries to go after him. Ezran then leaves. So we then cut back to Viren. And under the influence of Erebos, he uses some kind of dark magic spell to make these 4 kind of moon shadow elf looking creatures that he sends to the 4 other human kingdoms and says to bring terror to these other 4 human kingdoms. And of course his face, as always when you've done dark magic, isn't great. And so later on, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so we cut back to the squad, except minus Ezran, and Callum's Zim, and Rayla start across the Moonstone Path, which is a secret path that Rayla knows about, being a Moonshadow Elf. Then we cut back to Viren, and he is in his office, and he's trying to make himself look normal again using these butterfly things, which, I'm kind of a Miraculous Ladybug fan. By that I mean I hate it so much I love it. And Viren and Hawkmoth, or Shadowmoth, whatever, are very similar to me. I don't know why. Their voices sound a little bit similar, even though I know they have different voice actors. Which I believe I have mentioned that in previous videos. Plus, I think it's the whole butterfly thing, honestly. I think that's probably why they are like, I correlate, like, I've drawn a connection between these two is because of the butterflies, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, Viren is attacked by soldiers from the palace guard, I assume from some kind of guard. He's attacked by soldiers while he's trying to make himself look normal. He then kills many of them with the help of Erebos and his extremely powerful spells. But then, eventually, for some reason, Erebos withdraws, and Viren is taken prisoner. Then I'm going to quote my next line. The weird bug thing that Erebos speaks through goes into Viren's ear. Gross. That's a very true description. Gross. I always cringe when that happens. Then we see a moment where soldiers have discovered the secret passage behind the painting that we found out about, like in the first couple episodes, where the egg of the dragon prince was originally. So we cut back to the squad, minus Ezran, and Rayla, Callum, and Zim are still trying to get across the path before the sun rises, but they are too late. They are unable to see which rocks they are able to step on, and for some weird reason, and this seems, like, I'm sorry, like, this is cool and all, but this seems awfully convenient, because, like, suddenly Ezran and Zim have, like, this telepathic connection, And I'm gonna read exactly what I wrote here. Somehow Ezran and Zim have a telepathic connection, which is weird and just a little convenient. Very true. I know that it probably isn't the first time this has happened. It's the first time we've physically seen it, but there was a moment, it was either in Voyage of the Ruthless or one of the episodes where they were on the boat. Earlier in season 2, we can see them like moving at the same time. So this may be like a telepathic connection thing, but this is the first time we've ever seen this, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of convenient. I'm just noticing that they all of a sudden have this telepathic connection. So Ezran, with the help of Corvus, teaches Zim how to fly. Finally, he gets on Corvus's shoulders and starts flapping his arms weirdly, so that Zim can do the same motion. With a little bit of help from Callum, Zim is able to block the sun, and Callum and Rayla get across safely. So for a moment, Zim starts falling, but Callum, luckily, has mastered the Sky Arcanum at this point, and is able to use Aspero to help him upwards. So yeah, Ezran finally gets Zim to fully fly. And of course, Corvus says that Ezran is a weird king, which is very true. Then we go back to Claudia and Soren. So Claudia is helping Soren out of the hospital, and she realizes that she still has the horn from the dragon that Soren cut off. And they're like, well, we have this. We may have failed their secret missions, but at least we have this. Maybe our dad will be less angry. So finally, Callum, Rayla, and Zim are in Zadia, but of course, the first thing they run into is a problem. In their way is an ancient dragon named Sol Regum. And so that is where the episode ends. I really like this episode. I think I actually do like the previous one just a little bit more because we have more. They're kind of tied for me. This one is a great wrap up to the season, and my second favorite season finale so far. But if not my favorite season finale, actually, I'm not sure. But the other episode does have most of Callum's dream. This one just has the end of it. And for some reason, I thought that his entire dream was in this episode, but it's not. It's mostly in the previous episode, and it's just a little bit in this one. But anyways, please do let me know. This video, I was looking at my notes that I took while watching the episode, plus like a summary that I made. So let me know if you like this format or the fully scripted formats with just a little bit of improv, or my completely improvised format. I've made several videos for the fully improvised one and just like one with the script and one with this. So please let me know which one you liked the best, and I will go with that format. Yeah. Anyways, that is all for today. I will see you guys next time. Bye.